I actually have an interesting thing for you today. I am going to unbox some things I bought on eBay. I don't remember everything that they were in because it's been like a month and I wanted to wait to do this. Now, as for the mask, my teeth are jacked. I'm gonna be honest, and I don't want to show that. So, this is my vanity. I'm sorry. If you can't hear me that well, we'll do something in post production if we have to find out how to fix that. But this is, me, and I am who I am. So, I'm going to open the box. This is the paranormal romance box. I also have a historical romance box I'll be opening up later in the month. But for now, we'll go to PNR because I know there are some of my favorite authors in here. So here we can't really go to half price books or anything like that, like a lot of the booktubers do, and I wish we could because dang, I miss that. There were some really great ones where I lived, which, by the way, if you're in Gwinnett County and you like romance, I highly suggest you go to Liberty Books. It was formerly a half-price books, I believe, and they redid it, and it's in downtown Lawrenceville, and they've got an entire room of nothing but romance. So I'm gonna plug them. They also participate in Romance Day, so I kind of like to plug that idea because it's a community and I like the community to go together. All right, so box open. So we'll find out what I got. Some of these I know. I remember because I got them because they were, again, my favorite authors. And some are memory recalls. So I have, yeah, I have Dead End Dating by Kimberly Ray. I remember wanting to read this about not six, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, so I'm very interested in this one. Then I have two Vicky Taylors, Flesh and Stone and Carved in Stone. So that's pretty cool. Now, this one in particular I'm really interested in. It's Kiss Me Forever and Love Me Forever. So this is a zebra print book, and I actually had this book. Back in the day, I actually owned this book, and I loved it. It was one of my first paranormal romances that I had read, and it was great because it was like a duology, so I could just read all these cool things. And I mean, look how thick the thing is. It's like each book is like 300 and something pages, so huge. Love that. Then I have Catherine Smith's Taken by the Night and Amanda Ashley's A Whispered by Eternity. Ta-da! I have no idea anything about these books. So, and Taken by the Night, I'm assuming a vampire, given the name. Let's see. It says, I enjoy carnal pleasures like any mortal man, but 600 years of existence has taught me loss. Best to stay away from people and save myself from the heartache. Then I arrived in a tourist London brothel, Maison Rouge, and my life such as it will be again. So it's about a brothel with vampires, obviously. And it's very interesting because apparently it's dealing with the madam's daughter. So cool. Again, I'm down for this kind of stuff. This is what I was like. This wasn't candy for me when I was younger. And then we have A Whisper of Eternity, which is when artist Tracy Warner purchases the rambling seaside house above Dominic St. John's hidden lair, he recognizes in her spirit the woman he has loved countless times over the centuries. Drawing her into the fascinating secretive world of the vampire, he aches to believe that this one time shall not refuse his dark gift. But when Dominic's ancient rival appears in Seacliff, hungry for territory and power, Tracy becomes a pawn in a deadly game. To save her and the passion that burns between them, Dominic must offer a whisper of eternity. So we have multiple lives, vampires, kind of a gothic feel. So there. So there. This is a really big box. There's 20 something books, by the way. And then, oh my god, I didn't realize this. I have a Silhouette Shivers. So, I'm very impressed with this because I have that category romance corner. So, I did not realize this was in the box, and this is awesome because I can add that to the group. Every month I let patrons decide what I'm gonna read the next month, and this month it is Nora, which is a Sunfire young adult romance. And you can actually hear about that on Olivia Dade's episode of uh, uh, romance. No, Reader Seeks Romance. Reader Seeks Romance. So I will link that below because it was a really interesting episode. But this is going to be interesting. It's FBI agent Diana Reyes knows too much about the darkness of the human soul. She had spiraled into that underground once before and vowed never to fall again until she met him. Powerful, dangerous, and the key to catching a psychotic killer, Ryder Latimer was everything she couldn't have and everything she wanted. He haunted her nights, shattered her reserve, and made her feel more than she'd ever felt before. But once she learned his secret, would his sensual promise of eternal love be enough to garner her forgiveness? For Ryder was more than a lover of the night. He was a vampire. Dun dun dun. And apparently there's a signature on it. I don't think it's the author's, but there's a signature on it. And it's from 2004, so I didn't realize it was still around back then. Okay, I thought it was before then. Okay, so then we have Susan Sizemore's I Burned for You. The name is familiar to me. I have not read anything by her, but the name is familiar. And once again, can you guess? If you guessed a vampire, you are right. And this is Fated Mates, apparently. So that'll be interesting. And then I have Kimberly Logan's The Devil's Temptation. Ooh. A debauched ball packed with London's seediest revelers is no place for a decent young woman I've tried so hard to be. But if I'm to avoid my mother's shameful scandal that has led to her still unsolved murder, I, Lady Maura Daventry, must be willing to hunt everywhere for the truth about her killer. But I never expected I would encounter the devil himself, the Earl of Hawksley, a wicked, charismatic Hagrel, Raquel, who has set tongues wagging by betting women all over London, and whose father was the prime suspect in the murder of his married lover, my mother. But new evidence seems to suggest that another culprit is responsible, and the only man offering to assist me in my hunt is a dangerously seductive Hawksley, who, alas, grows more intriguing to me by the hour. I have heard the stories of his grand indiscretions, but I never dreamed I would become one. Those are really great, guys. Like, these are straight up my candy. Okay. Oh, cool. I have a J.A. Aiken, which of course you guys know her as Shelley Lawrenson because I talk about her all the damn time. And it's Dragon, actually. And this is about, obviously, a dragon. And, ooh, the female character is called Anual the Bloody, I'm assuming. And she can talk to Feargus the Destroyer, which is interesting. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. This is going to be fun, I think. I've been curious about her books for a while. And again, like a lot of these are zebra prints. And I've said this before, but my first really introduction to the world was actually the hologram zebra prints from like the 80s and 90s. So for me, this means a lot. It's very cool. And it's a dragon. I love dragons. I collect dragons. As evidenced by my husband shooting across this thing, even though it's his. Okay. And then you have Eve Silver's Dark Prince. And it is talking about among the barren, rocky coast of Pentress and Cornwall, a woman's battered body washes ashore, and the whispers begin, nowhere is safe. For evil has come to Pentress, and to the uneasy shadows of Travisham home. Fate has brought Jane Hetherington to the work at Travisham home. She knows what they say about the estate's brooding new master, Aidan Warwick, a man of mystery, a pirate, a smuggler, and more. Worse. He may look like a fallen angel, but everything about him suggests he is in league with the devil himself, and Jane has seen nothing to suggest otherwise. Cut off from family and friends, Jane's only companion is a man she dare not trust, who disappears into the night, whose secrets are many, and who looks at her with a hunger she both fears and desires. Now, as danger haunts the coast and a terrible retribution is unleashed, Jane wonders if she is falling for the dark prince of her dreams, or a heartless madman who preys on the innocent. You know, I still don't know what this is about. Like, I don't know, it's like it's in the paranormal, but is it like Maybe he is a dark prince. Maybe he's a demon. I'm down with demon fics. They're some of my favorites, to be honest. Mary Janice Davison's Derek's Bane. Now, I should mention that Mary Janice Davison is like one of my favorite authors of all time. Just to be clear, like back in the, I guess it was like the 2008, 2009, like these books were everything. These and Betsy and Fred, and those are coming up in a minute. They're just so cool to me. I love them, and Derek's Bane made me laugh so hard. So I'm so happy to find it. It's like a rom com werewolf, fated mate. So I love that. It's so cool. I'm so excited over this. Speaking of Mary Janice Davison, we have Fred, Sleeping with the Fishes and Sleeping Without a Net, which are two of the first couple ones in that. And I love it because Fred is like a mermaid who hates the world. Just nope, nope. And she doesn't know, she knows she's a mermaid, but she knows nothing about her mermaid side until they come looking for her, and she's like betrothed to this prince, and like it's this whole thing. And the best part is she works in like the Boston Aquarium. She's got like long green hair, which if you can see, I don't know, we can tell. Yes, he says yes, so that's cool. And apparently I have someone's postcard from someone else buying the product from somebody else. Ah, awesome. Okay, so I'm very excited about this. I have a few more, but I'm leaving one in particular. And then this one is Pleasure Unbound, a Demonica novel by Larissa Ioni. And I have no idea. It's obviously about a demon. Let's see. Oh, Taylor, yeah, is a demon slayer who hungers for sensual pleasure but fears it will always be denied to her until she lands in a hospital run by demons in disguise. And the head doctor, Idolonen, makes her body burn with unshakable desire. But to solve her ultimate loyalty to her peers, she must betray the servant who saved her life. Idolon cannot resist this fiery, dangerous woman who fills him with a rage and passion. Not only is she his avowed enemy, but she can very well be the hunter who has been preying upon his people. Torn between his need for the truth and his quest to find his perfect mate before a horrific transformation claims him forever, Eidolon will dare the unthinkable and let Taylor possess him, body and soul. Okay, so this one is interesting to me because it's Carrie Arthur, and like, okay, I should mention here in Germany, again, we don't have half price books, and it's very hard to find books by English books. They're very rare. And if you see moving around, that's my dog. Say hi. That'll be Penny. Anyway, so in this one, it's Destiny Kills, and she's got this badass like tattoo on her. So it says, when Destiny McCree wakes up beside a dead man on an Oregon beach, she knows only this: she has to keep moving, keep searching, and keep one step ahead of the forces that have been pursuing her from the heart of Scotland to this isolated spot. Why? The death of her lover has left her alone with little memory of her past. A glimmering serpent-shaped ring is the one clue she has, and a bargaining chip in a most dangerous game. Enter Trey Wilson, a master thief with a sexy, knowing grin and a secret agenda of his own. Destiny and Trey both have their powers far beyond the human, and both are running for their lives. Together they're riding a tide of danger, magic, and lust, but with killers stalking their every move, they must use any means necessary, even each other, to survive, until the shocking secret of one woman's destiny finally unravels. I like this. This could be fun. Okay. Then we have. Oh, it's a duology. I'll wait for that one in a second. Okay. So then we have Karen Harbaugh, Night Fires. When was this one made? Because this one looks like an Aura cover. Pardon me. 2003. It's got a very gothic. Okay. Enter a midnight world of dark seduction and unquenchable desire, of sinful pleasure and breathtaking intrigue, where amid the flames of war and the immortal thirst of two irresistible lovers, an alliance is born that will forever burn. Beautiful and damned, Simone de la Fere roamed the French nights as a vampire. A reluctant immortal, she thought she would never again taste the bittersweet pleasures of mortal love, until she met an enigmatic human spy she found impossible to resist. Haunted by his own violent past, Michael Corday arrived from England on a secret mission. On a starlight highway, he finds his life changed forever by a creature of the night. Unable to deny their destiny, they travel together through the Parisian underworld on a dangerously erotic journey to right a terrible wrong. You know, this sounds a lot like an Anne Rice novel without all the crap. No, I have Anne Rice far beyond her as a person, just as a writer. The first book I ever read by her was A Witching Hour. That one needed a good, like, I don't know, 300-page edit. Okay. Oh, this is Katie McAllister's A Girl's Guide to Vampires. Again, this is a very, like, some of these names you see a lot on eBay if you buy them individually. And I've done that before, and, like, a lot of the books are, like, $4 per book. So looking for these kind of things, even if I don't like the books that I have, I can always put them on eBay later and recoup my money that way. But for me, this is more important because I can get a variety of things to read, and my bookshelf can grow at a very quick rate. Because when I was at home in the States, I had like maybe 400 or 500 books at minimum, right? And then like I had to start getting rid of them, then I had to get rid of more and so more. And then I came here and I had like I brought like maybe 3 books, and I had like maybe 5 at home that I sent, and that's all the paperbacks I had. I had some of the ones that I left for my husband, which was Eloisa James's Once Upon a Tower, The Unbearable Lightness of Being, much to his pain. I made him read that one. Still really liked the book. He did not, but that's here nor there. So finding these kind of like empty calorie books, and I mean that in the best way, is really helpful for me because reading is part of my mental health. Like this podcast is not all of it. Like I started the podcast because I was reading this anyway. So for me, this is deeply huge and deeply personal and very cool to me. So we have A Girl's Guide to Vampires. Location, location, location. Remember, if you wouldn't be there, neither would a bloodsucker. They will be found dead, in places like discos, 10-minute loo shops, or Switzerland, check the Czech Republic. Trust your eyes. You know the handsome, annoyingly arrogant, self-assured man in the shadows with long hair and a cleft in his chin? He's your vampire. No matter how tempting it may be, do not accidentally acquire a paper cut and suggest your vampire kiss your finger to make it better. What you offer as a snack, he might take for a 4-course meal. From here on out, play it cool. Don't offer to accompany your prince of the night to the talk show circuit, and whatever you do, don't offer him your heart. And most of all, remember, being a vampire is nothing to laugh about. And this makes me laugh because it reminds me a lot of Molly Harper in her Jane series, Jane Jameson series, the vampire series. It reminds me a lot of that, and I love that because that's seriously some of my favorite work. And then we have another Katie McAllister, which is Even Vampires Get the Blues. And I've heard of this one, I've just never read it. So, Pan Scott is a dark one, a vampire without a soul. And his mother is about to lose hers too if Pan can't repay a debt to a demon by finding a relic known as the Julian God in 5 days. Half-elf Samantha Posse may have gotten kicked out of the Order of Diviners, but she's still good at finding things, which is why she just opened her own private investigation agency. Pan is one of Sam's first clients and the only one to set her elf senses tingling, which makes it pretty impossible to keep the relationship on a professional level. Sam is convinced that she is Pan's beloved, the woman who can give him back his soul, whether he wants it or not. Dun dun dun. Then we have Susan Squires, The Companion. It's definitely a Regency vampire romance. God, do you guys know how happy this makes me? You heard Halloween month of 2020, right? Like I love a vampire Regency. Okay. Ian Rufford was captured, enslaved, and then abandoned in the lonely dunes of Egypt's desert. His tormentor was a woman of magnificent beauty and the blackest of souls. Now Ian prays for a death that will not come. Only after his rescue does he begin to realize how he's changed. But he understands very little, just as he has started carrying something strange in his blood only known as the Companion. Elizabeth Rothwell's home was Egypt. After her father's death, however, she was sent home to live a conventional life in London. Aboard ship, she finds herself drawn to her mysterious traveling companion, Ian Rufford. He awakens feelings in her that disturb and tantalize her senses. But he hides a shocking secret that Beth can only begin to unravel. It sounds really fun, honestly. I love fun books. Like, to me, a fun book is like the best thing because like I get arcs and I review them and I love them and I like being like that. But I also like getting books that are a little bit older because I think that it changes some of the conversations that I can talk about because I can talk about different time frames. And so these are all books that I really have enjoyed in the past, or I've enjoyed the tropes and the genre and like the little side things and stuff like that. So this is just fun for me. And then we have a duology from Karen Harbaugh again, and it's The Vampire Viscount and The Devil's Bargain. Another Regency. Okay, so The Vampire Viscount. After marrying a seductive Nicholas, Viscount Saint Hubert, Lenore becomes curious to know why he fears the light of day and what fuels a hellfire in his eyes. And as her marriage moves to its ultimate moment of truth, she can only wonder if the Viscount's all consuming kiss will crown her undying happiness or seal her eternal doom. Dun dun dun. And then The Devil's Bargain. Evelyn Seton could never imagine a reckless gambler like Richard, Viscount Claremont, marrying a merchant's daughter such as herself. She is very surprised when the nobleman approaches her, until she learns that, to avoid a future poverty, he has sold his soul and Evelyn's virtue to Satan. Unless the beauty can outwit roguish Claremont, she will surely become his willing victim. You know, this sounds amazingly fun. I don't know. I have no idea. But this sounds amazing. Because what the heck did I just read, guys? I had to, like, censor myself. But you can fill in the word, by now by me. Because this is on YouTube, so I don't want to get dinged. But here's the author's note. I hope vampire fans will forgive me for departing from the fairly recent tradition in vampire lore of having the vampires incapable of seeing themselves in the mirror. This idea mostly came from Bram Stoker, who wrote Dracula at a much later time in the Regency era, and I thought it better thematically to do something different with mirrors in my story. I'm supported in this by Lord Byron, which of course, F boys of literature is going to love, who did not even mention mirrors with regard to his vampires, and Byron's contemporary and personal physician, Dr. John Polidori, whose vampire, Lord Ruthven, was too impeccably dressed not to have looked in a mirror from time to time. However, vampires are known to have not look like the not to like looking in them, whatever they have may or may not see. Pieces of folklore, at least I have included. There are many conflicting traditions and rules in vampire history, and as an author must choose what care with care, which one she will use. I hope I've sufficiently done so. I'm really into this book already. And I gotta get through some art, but when my arms are off, I got lots of options already. Okay, now I have two more books, and I saved them for a reason. And this was the reason I bought the damn book box. And that is because I've got someone on Twitter that I have known for quite a while now, in several iterations, and that is Alyssa Day. So I have known Alyssa Day for a while. When I was writing my paper in 2013, I was still talking to her because I had interviewed Janine Frost and Eileen Wilkes for that, and I was still talking to her, and like I was on her Facebook, like her private, like I've known her for a while. And I mention this because this is why I usually don't review her on the podcast. I make it a point not to review people that I'm really close with because I think it kind of does some weird things. However, Olivia Dade, and spoiler alert, was an exception to the rule because of the subject that she wrote was so important. I thought I wanted to talk about it. Fat positivity is really huge to me, so I try and do things a little bit separately. But I've got Atlantis Rising and Atlantis Awakening. Now, you guys are wondering why I'm excited. Because I used to own these books. This is how I knew who Alyssa Day was. And I owned the physical copies. I did not own the ebook copies. So this is a huge deal to me, and it kind of brings a little bit of my American life back to me. right? This and Mary Janice and like the Love Me Forever stuff, like those things bring back my past and my present, and it's really nice to have those moments because when you give up everything to move, you sometimes leave things you really want behind. And so I'm super excited to have these back. And these are warriors from Atlantis. So obviously they are warriors and it's magic and it's like sci-fi at the same time because they live under the water in Atlantis and it's like really cool. So I'm really excited to read these again, and I probably take me a while to read all this and historical box, and that's the point. The point is to make it last as long as possible. And so I'm really excited, and I'm really enjoying this whole plan. I'm trying to have the girl do 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 do. That's fitting. So I hope you guys will enjoy my journey on this. And if you guys want to talk about some of these are going to be just Patreon only books. And not all of them, but some of them will be. And I'm going to have like mini reviews, I think, on different platforms. I already have one on Instagram, and I have them sometimes on Patreon. And I think I'm going to put some maybe on here too occasionally, just to kind of give you guys different things on different platforms because I think it's fun to do that, right? So I'm thinking maybe the PNR will be here more than Instagram because Instagram has been more historical romance. So I think it's going to be really fun. And of course, the main podcast is a little bit of everything. And Patreon is wherever I put anything, and that's at patreon.com/damselspodcast. And yes, I'm plugging the heck out of that because I put a lot of work into this, and my Patreons help me buy things like this, and that's super important for me, guys, because I don't have the access I used to have to get used books and stuff like that. And in Germany, we're still in lockdown. We don't know when we're gonna come out of lockdown. Like the next date is like February 14th. But who knows? It could be like April 25th. We don't know. I've been staying at home since December 14th, so it would be nice to have something fun to do. And now I have things to kind of exist and maybe not kill my eyes so much with my astigmatisms. Might be kind of a good idea. Yeah, maybe. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. You can find me on every platform under Damsels Podcast, which is Instagram, Facebook, um, obviously this channel. You can find me on Twitter. That's probably your best bet to find me ever. My email is damselspodcast@gmail.com because I'm telling you, I try to make this as easy as I could. There's a website, damselspodcast.com. There's again patreon.com/damselspodcast. And I have a reading prompt going at the moment for 2021 for the podcast, and it's called Challenging Damsels. And there's a Facebook group for that. So if you look for it, you can join. And the idea is to read a little bit outside of our boxes and maybe incorporate things that we may miss along the way and kind of change what we read. And it started out something I wanted to do, and I invited everyone else to do along for the ride. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy this video. And I will see you next time for the next unboxing. Until then, keep up with the podcast. You never know what you're going to find. Because it just may be about alien sex on one of these episodes coming up soon. Bye.